Hello, good morning. A very good morning to you today. It is Wednesday, the 11th of February. It is a very overcast day here today. It's a bit gloomy, a bit drizzly, not as cold as it has been. But still, how are you? What's the weather like where you are? I am back. I should be equipped to move screens and sound should be able to hear me today and all of that wonder. So let me know how you're doing. Today I'm going to be making some little heart slider bracelets with you. Now around Christmas time or yeah, I think it was December, I was making some heart sliders with you, star sliders with you. These are very similar, only because it's near Valentine's Day. I'm going to be making them with little hematite hearts. So you can see here we've got some gorgeous hematite, which is plated in wonderful colours. This one is like a gold and a pink. I've got some lovely little beads that I'm using in there too. And then we have these slider clasps, which I absolutely love. Now you can make these really small by just sliding them up to close, and you just move them down to open. So there's a little bead on the bottom with like a little silicone bead inside of it, and then we have this lovely almost box chain, I would imagine, and they just slide up and down. So we've got a silver and or rhodium colour, and we've got the gold for you today. You can see these hearts are plated very pretty. We've got this beautiful deep purple. Let's get a little bit of twinkle and shine on them. We've got gorgeous silver colour. And we also have this greeny kind of gold plated, which I absolutely love. I think my favourite is probably the pink today. I've been given a little silver slider clasp to demo with, so I'm going to be making this one up for you with the rhodium in the silver. You can mix and match them. You're going to get plenty in your kit, and there's going to be lots left over. So these have been designed rather small, I would say. What you want to make sure is that you can fit this over your hand, although you can adjust them really easily. We've only got quite a small, delicate little chain, so we want to make sure that this is wide enough so when you fit it on, you can pop it over your hand, and you can do that by arranging these lovely pearls and hearts in any which way that you want. Now you can see on this design, they're all traveling in the same direction. So all the hearts are going in one direction. What I'm going to do today is I think I'm going to play about with the design a little bit, and I'm going to make a center point. So I'm going to have some hearts traveling one way and some hearts traveling in the opposite way. They are plated on both sides, so there's no right or wrong way to attach these. It's a really straightforward, simple stringing make. They look beautiful stacked as well. If you did want to mix the colours, if you wanted to multi-buy, you could mix your colours that way, or you could multi-buy and stack them in different colours as well. So I'm going to make the one on the demo a little bit larger today because, as I say, you're getting full strand of beads in here, so you're going to have plenty to play around with, and you can arrange these in whichever way you want to. I think they make really lovely gifts because they've got that adjustable clasp. If you are selling or you are making to gift, you don't really have to worry about sizing. You can just make them however you want, and then they just dangle longer the more you draw them in. So Mina says she loves these. She's made the star ones for Christmas presents and her friends love them. I do love having the hematite beads. They're a little bit more weighty, but yeah, they're not too heavy, and you've got these beautiful finishes on them. Obviously with gemstones there's a lot of kind of metaphysical kind of properties that are attributed to them, and people sometimes believe that, you know, this is good for grounding. I think the reason where that comes from is because of that kind of slight heaviness and weight to them. There's lots of information about hematite, what it's made up of, what it's been used for over the years. It was used a lot in midwifery. It was used, I think, by kind of original, like American Indians. I think they were using them for like in battles and things. It was meant to represent protection. For me, whether you read into those properties of gemstones, which these are, then that's entirely up to you. I like hematite because I like the weight. I like that sheen and the ability to plate it in all these different colours. I can't think of the words that I was looking for, so I hope I've not been offensive in any of my description. But there you go. You've got that lovely, lovely beads today. They're a really nice size and they interlock and fit into each other just beautifully. Good morning, Anne. She says, good morning, Natalie and everybody. Anastasia's in. Hello to Carol. Good morning to Joanne. Who else have we got? We've got Joanne saying, good morning, Natalie. Good morning, all. I miss Mondays. Haven't seen my eldest sister for around 4 years. Had a good catch up over breakfast and shopping. Ah, how lovely, Joanne. That sounds beautiful. I hope you had a really lovely time. I was at Kitty's house on Monday. So I did the tutorial from there because I had a weekend at the warehouse. So it was a very busy weekend, and we've got lots of things planned. You missed, they were called Reenie bracelets, which you can go back and look at. The sound is a little bit quiet. I did do my best, and I had a few technical issues because it's just always the way there, for me anyway. But they were really lovely. There was a little bundle, so if you wanted to, I think you were making loads of bracelets in those, but we said that they'd make, because I was using connectors, which were like a 3-in-1. They'd make lovely earrings. They'd make a lovely necklace. Good morning to Kath. How are you doing? Elaine's in as well. Camille says, good morning. Another grey day here in Lynham. Glad I got home okay. The journey there was absolutely, completely smooth sailing, stress-free. Well, it wasn't sailing, I was on the train. On the way back, it was going all well, and then I got to Warrington Banquet, which isn't too far away from me at all, and we all had to get off the train at the station because of smoke on the carriage, which was, I mean, there was no like fire alarm, which was good because I think it would have really panicked me. There was no fire on the train. We were fine. We were only delayed about 20 minutes. But yeah, we got to speak to people, which was really lovely. I spoke to 2 ladies actually. They were 2 sisters, and they were from Glasgow, or they were going back to Glasgow, and they have beautiful Scottish accents. And they were visiting family in Warrington. So it sounds to me, Joanne, like you weren't the only one who got to spend a little bit of time on Monday with the sister, which was really nice. I just like to chat to people, you know me, I'm a chatterbox. Hello to you. You are Nell, I think it is it Nella or Nell. She says it's nice in East Texas. It's going to be about 70s today. Good morning to Yolanda. How are you doing? Izzy's in as well. Should have bought these sliders last year, but I've not used them yet. So looking for some tips. All I would say is make sure you've got a good size, as I say, enough to fit over the hand. And in terms of tips, I'm not even going to be using jump rings with these. They've got little loops on the bottom of them. So you just open that like a jump ring and you can attach that straight through your culotte. So a really straightforward and lovely make, I think, today. Good morning to Fairness Born. Hello, Rachel. How are you doing? So I've got lots of you in. I'm going to take you over to the website now, and then we're going to start making. I'm just going to play around with my design today and just be a bit creative because they are so straightforward. You can make them as they are on the samples. You can play about with them. You can do whatever you want. But they will be predominantly, well, they will be bracelets because that slider clasp, unless you made an extremely long one and you could have it as a necklace. But it'd have to be wide enough to put over your head because you don't open this clasp, you just slide it up and down, hence why it's called a slider clasp. Anastasia says, Natalie, you sound great. At Kitty's house, normal. I can't hear Kitty that well, but you did great. Oh, thank you very much. It's just settings, and I always check before I go live at Kitty's house that everything's working. I'm like, show me how to zoom in on this because hers is so fancy. She's got this wonderful setup when it works, but it never works for me. And as soon as I went live, all these windows that were there down the side to flip cameras and angles and all the rest of it just disappeared. So hopefully you understood what I was doing. It was a very straightforward make. I was just turning connectors for pins and attaching them together. And Mina says, my son wants me to make these as he's got a lovely girlfriend and got a few birthdays this month and next. My little one had a disco in school, like a little party. It was Valentine's themed. He went wearing his best things. He even had a little bit of his dad's aftershave on. He's only 7. He's 8 in March. And we got some sweeties for a little girl, little heart sweeties, for like cones of sweets for one of his classmates, who's very, very sweet. And I was like, she better be kind with his heart. She's a lovely girl. She's an identical twin, and I'd asked him a little while ago, you know, why do you like her? And he said, oh, she's kind to me and she's very clever, and I like the colour of her hearing aid. So I thought, well, they're nice qualities to like in somebody. So yeah. He had lots of fun, come home very sweaty after full-on dancing. So yeah, I think these would be nice gifts. So I don't know, maybe she'll be getting one of these as well. They are really good if you do want to make them for younger people, because of that clasp and that slider. It can really draw it in, and it's not too weighty at its smallest point, you know, depending on how large you make this section. If you were to pull it right in, so you could make that large enough to fit the full wrist, that will be the largest. I think it's about 6 centimeters, which is what, about 2 and a bit inches. In fact, let me put you down on the mat. It'll have all the measurements on the website. But yeah, so from, oh, let's put, see, I'm saying it's all good when I'm here. It helps if I'm under the camera. So you can see at its tightest, that's going to have a dangle of 6 centimeters, which I do think is about 2.5. Oh, yeah, about 2 inches, 2.25 if we're going from here. So that's going to be as long as your tassel's going to be. And I like that, because if you're to make a full-size bracelet and then attach this, you don't want it too long and dangly. So I think this is a really good size, but obviously you just need to make sure that if you are to make quite a small section, that this is going to fit over the hand. So this, I think, would be a really good one to make for younger or smaller wristed people, as well as a larger wristed person. You can adapt that really easily. Camille says, I love these slider clasps, made quite a few. Good morning to Angela. It's just raining here again. It's I mean, there's water drops all over the plants outside, so I don't know if it's raining right now. It definitely has been. I've just had a load of stones and gravel dropped off at the front of the drive, so it'll be like Mud Mountain again at mine in a bit. So let's go over to the website and I will show you your kits for today. We are, of course, the wonderful totallybeads.co.uk. We are based here in the UK, and this is where you can find lots of lovely products. I should be able to share and move around the website for you quite easily, hopefully today. Head into the video tutorial category. You can go on it this way on the main page. There's 2 different ways of getting into it. It's just big video tutorial icon, and there's one with our faces on as well. You can always go into the jewelry making category here, and that will take you to video tutorials at the top if you want to go in that way. If you need, there's the other one. I like this one just because it's got our makes on it and our faces, and this will take you into all of our makes. Now if you scroll along, this was Rini from Monday. This was ones I did last week, so they're all kind of in like a little bit of a recent order. But if you want to look for something specific, so if you think I want to look at a fest make, I want to make a bracelet, I want to do something with chain, I want to do a stitch project, I want to do a wire project, we have we all have our own skills and we all have our own things that we like to do. You might have a favorite maker. So you might think, I love watching Kitty's tutorials because I like a stitch project and that's predominantly what she does. You might think, I think Laura is brilliant at teaching chainmail. I want to have a little watch of that. You think I want to do something nice, easy strung, or I like wire work. So you might want to watch me, Natalie. You can go in by bead category, you can go in by technique, you can search that way too. Now Kitty has asked me to let you know that she's no longer going to be working doing the live tutorials for Totally Beads. She is taking a step back at the moment, and I'm not too sure whether that will be well, it's forthcoming, so I don't know if she will return at a later date or whether that's done. I'm not too sure. But if you stitch beading, there is hundreds, I think, of tutorials on here, and they're always there, so you can always watch back any of these makes. Even if you think, I want to use different beads but I want to use that technique, we have lots of kits available as well. So you could click into her lovely face and you could look at her amazing jewelry and you could think, well, I want to do these little ginkgo flower pendants. I don't know when they were delivered, but you'll be able to watch back and you can watch her tutorial on there. And some of them, this one particularly looks like it, oh yeah, they're all out of stock. You could still get the PDF as well. Some of our projects come with written instructions. I know Laura does a lot of written instructions for hers as well, which is really great. I like to watch and learn, but you can click into us that way as well if you want, and you can see just some of the things that we've been making. Apparently these are my top makes, which I'm assuming means these were the things you liked watching me do. But you can see there's wire on there, there's chainmail on there, there's stringing projects on there, there's all sorts on there. Oh, I remember doing them. Oh, you know, I've been doing tutorials now for Totally Beads for 5 years, and I do sometimes forget what I've done, and sometimes we'll look at something, I'll pick up a bead and think, oh, I used them, what did I use them for? So you can see there's loads of different projects there. If you are new to us, you can watch back for, well, for 5 years, if not more, of my tutorials, but there's even more on there. Today's make, I just thought, because it's a quite simple one, I will go through some of the website with you. You can change your currency on there as well. We do ship worldwide, and all of your, so for example, if you're in America, there's all the import taxes and everything that's applied, all the tariffs and whatnot. And that's not my remit. I haven't got a clue on that, but that's all on the website there for you as well. These today are our heart slider bracelets. So if you were to click into these, you can get your kits today for just £12.99. Now these have been reduced from £15.99. Because I've got that screen in the corner, I'm going to just leave them there. So that's something pretty for you to look at. So yeah, they've been reduced already. They should have been £16. They're now only 13, pretty much. Of course, you can change your currency, as I've said, for that. So we've got each kit making up to 4 bracelets, but there's plenty of beads in there. So if you want to make these larger, you absolutely can. Today on my tutorial, I'm going to be adding a few more in there, in the mix, just for the sake of it, really. So you're going to make up to 4 bracelets. And as I say, there's plenty left over. So we've got the green gold, the mermaid pink, the purple and the silver. The purple and silver are the colour of the beads, and the clasp, the slider clasp for that will be rhodium. On the mermaid pink and the green gold, they're on a gold coloured slider clasp. You get absolutely loads in this little bundle. I think it's a bundle. If you're making more than one item, it's a bundle, isn't it? So you're going to get your hematite heart beads, you're going to get your slider bracelets, you're going to get glass pearls as well, culottes, crimp beads and Tigertail wire. You don't need any lobster clasps because we've got those what's referred to as a slider bracelet, that will be your clasp. You don't need any jump rings because they're already kind of, those loops are attached for you to attach onto that. So you're getting everything you need in your kit. If you want to see exactly the sizes and the colours in each one, then you just scroll down a little bit further on the page. So the glass pearl round beads are pale olive in this colourway, and they're 4mm in size. There you go, that adjustable chain for you is 6cm in length. And we've also, make sure you're aware that if I can hover here, you're getting that length and that length. So it's really going to widen up that bracelet, and as this bead slides across, it's going to tighten it up as well. These are the beautiful hematite interlocking flat hearts. They're 6mm in size, and these ones are gorgeous. They're all gorgeous, but this is a really good example of how they look. I will show you them down on the mat, but because they're so reflective, you've got that that shine on them. The colour is probably a little bit clearer to see on these photographs here. So they are green, kind of like a pale green, which look beautiful with these pale olive, but then you've also got that kind of gold tone. So if I hover over the top there, you can see there's kind of like a gold finish to them. So that one is your green gold heart slider bracelet, making up for just £12.99. This one, which I think is going to be very popular, this is the mermaid pink, and like the colours on them are just gorgeous. They've been coloured, so it also kind of reminds me of a bit like that kind of petrol finish. It's not Aurora Borealis, but if you play about with kind of magnets, you can magnetize hematite as well. That's one of the things I was meant to say to you. Sometimes you can, if they are magnetized, a lot of people sometimes think that they might benefit you if you've got rheumatism and things like that. Again, I will never say to you, this is good for any health, whether it's mental health or physical health. I'll never, ever, ever encourage you to do that. Always seek professional, proper medical advice. But some people do think it helps, and some people will want to magnetize their bracelets. Also, it's just cool to have magnetic jewelry. These ones aren't magnetic, but I think you can do that quite easily, I suppose. But what I was trying to get at is sometimes when you play around with magnets, it gives this effect. This is a good example of the bead where like the color moves to the outside. So that's pink, and then it's got this kind of like electric blue edging to it. It's also got that kind of gold tone as well. So we've put this with the gold colored bracelets. The pearls are watermelon. They're all the same size. 4mm is your pearls in whichever colour you go for, and the hematite interlocking flat hearts are 6mm in whatever size. This is a nice example. You can see the pink. There is like a little edge of like a blue on some of them, and then you've got that gold finish with like the little pink edging. They're really, really pretty. Really, really love this colourway. I think it looks gorgeous with those watermelon 4mm pearls as well. This one is your purple heart slider bracelet. Just the most gorgeous deep colour. This is on the rhodium adjustable bracelet, so still 6cm adjustable slider clasp. We've gone for the purple velvet pearls in this, which are 4mm, and then you've got these purple hearts. They are deep purple, and then when they catch the light, it's got a beautiful shine to it because you've got that lovely flat surface. The hearts are quite chunky. You can see that little kind of cut edge to them, then rather than them being fully round, well, they are rounded, but I'll just show you them close up because you can see like they've got those flat kind of flat curves, if that makes any sense. I don't know what's going on with my vocabulary today. I know what I want to say, and I just don't think I'm wording it as well as I should be, but hopefully you're following along with me. This one is the silver. This is what I'm going to demonstrate for you today. Really, really lovely. I also think they've got quite a I know it's a heart, but I think they've got quite a masculine appeal. I think hematite just does. It's got like a kind of strength to it. Like in actuality and also in feeling. So they are your silver hematite interlocking flat hearts. I might just shut up and make, to be honest. And then you've got the glass pearl round beads, which are 4mm in Lagoon. I'm still concerned about how I worded original Americans before. I don't know what word I'm trying to get out, but you know what I mean. People of the land. I don't know, people who lived there a long time ago. I'm going to be quiet. I don't want to upset anybody. So Lagoon with the silver on the rhodium. Should we just get making? Because that's what you're here for, isn't it? $12.99 today. Each of your kits is going to make 4 bracelets up, and you can play around with size, which is what I'm going to do now. I do apologise. Geometric hearts instead of smooth. Thank you. Native. Thank you, Camille. Do you know, honestly, I need you here, not just to help me along with the making, but just to help me find my words. We've got a lot of lovely American people in this morning. I've got a lovely Donna who's joining us, and you're probably just thinking, what is this Brit chatting about? Yeah, thank you, Camille. Native is the word. I am thinking of the Native American. Thank you, Carol Clark. Original. Well, it's similar, isn't it? Yeah, Joanne saying geometric, which is exactly the word that I was looking for. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Joanne says that's a shame. I've learned a lot from Kitty. I'll miss her tutorials. Natalie, it looks like you'll have to learn how to do more stitch projects. You might be right there. Do you know, I can do stitch projects, but they take me such a long time. And I want to make sure that I can bring you these makes in a variety of colours. I also think I'm only going to have, about an hour to show you on a live. And I want to make sure I cover all points, especially if you're like me and you are fairly new. I want to make sure you can see how to attach the clasp on whatever it is. So I will do my best to add more into the mix, but hopefully I'll suffice. Heather says, I was tidying up and found some old kits I'd forgotten about. Yeah, you and me too. I came home and found a load of samples I was meant to have taken up. I've got a bag of them here, and I've took so many up, and I don't know how I've missed that one. Camille says, the TV ones are really nice. Bought some from other places, but they were not as good. Good old Totally Beads. Well, that's lovely to hear. I think you're referring to the slider clasps. You could be referring to the beads. Right, okay, let's get down and let's get making. I'm going to cut a little length of Tigertail. I reckon you probably need about 10 centimetres for a small. I'm probably going to use about 15 centimetres or maybe 5 inches, and I'm going to do a little longer chain along this section. What you can do is, if you are making and you don't know how much Tigertail you're going to need, I'm going to show you this way, which I know our lovely Mina likes to make when she's batch making. So what she would do is she would keep her Tigertail on her reel. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mina. And she would slide her beads on in whatever pattern that she chooses. So I'm going to go for... Should I have them facing in or facing out? I'll do them this way. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to alternate between the beads that I'm going to pop on. I'm going to pop on one of the 4mm little round pearls and 2 of the hematite hearts, and you can see how they fit in together. Oh, well, you will find sometimes that happens if it's on the reel. So I'm just popping it on. So I'm popping the narrow point in first, and it's sitting down into the next one. So they will lock together. I got a lovely new ring yesterday. If anyone is in Widnes, I'm going to take it off because it is a little bit big and I don't want it to get in the way while I'm making. But if anyone is in Widnes, which is a town not too far from me, if you go into Widnes Town Centre, I implore you to go and see a shop called, I think it's called The Fascinating Shop, and it's run by a wonderful pair of people, Fred and Sheila. I think she's Sharon she's called, and he is lovely. They're both lovely. He's hysterical, and they have loads of kind of like dress jewelry, some little antique bits, like antique cars, and like medals and like toys and things and little miniatures. It's like a shop of curiosities. But I think this ring's really cute. I know I'm going off tangent, but this should have been £5 and that lovely man gave me it for 3. I just like the colours in it, but I am going to take it off just because it's a bit big for me, but I couldn't resist. So if you are like me and you can make your own jewellery but you want to be a little bit of a magpie, I'm just going to big up a local business. Sorry, not sorry. If you know when, I don't think they've got an online. So if you aren't close by, then you just have to go and find one near you. So all I'm going to do is just slide my hearts and my beads on. So I'm doing 2 pearls, then another hematite heart, and then a pearl, and then I'm going to do 3, and they're going to face and travel all in the same direction. So I'm just sliding that tiger tail up over my beading thread. I love tiger tail because it's got that nice strength and weight to it. Heather says I need a week off to finish them. I've got so many things which I think I'll make that. I keep buying stuff to think I'll make with that, and then I never get round to it. But I have got better. I've stopped. I'm trying to just buy the things that I need when I need them, rather than just start hoarding things. But it's always nice to have a project in, just so you can, on a rainy day or when you do get some time, you can just pick it up if you've got it from past and think, I'll do that today. So now I've popped my pearl in the middle. I'm going to follow that pattern, but I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So this time I'm popping my hearts on, so I'm going through that little kind of peak or curve at the top. Mina says I'm on the naughty list. I've just ordered all the kits, plus I got the gold hearts, the gold star kit as well. Well, Mina, they're popular. You seem to suggest that everybody that you gifted them to likes them. So why not think for this price, get them while they're on offer. I'm a bad influence, aren't I? Now I'm going to put the pearl on, and then I'm going to add just 1 hematite heart. So again, I'm having it face this way. And that way, it doesn't matter which way my bracelet fits. I'm like with these ones, I've got them all traveling in one direction. So again, doesn't matter which way round that you pop your bracelet on. But I think it's nice to have a little focal point. After I've done the 1, I'm going to put 2 pearls on. Really straightforward. Done a lot of chatting today because it's a really quick make. Camille says, you and me both, but must admit I haven't bought anything for a while as I've got many crafty kits to make from Christmas. Mina says, I agree with you, Natalie, as I've bought so many kits and beads, but not enough time to make. You need to find the time. You really, really do. It's good for you. I say I'll never tell you to do anything for health, but I do believe very strongly that making, whether you're baking, sewing, making jewelry, whatever it is you're doing, I do think having that little bit of craft is really good for your mental health. I think it just gives you a little time to be distracted and from whatever's going on and just focus on what you're doing. It's, I think, like a little bit of mindfulness, and that's all reeling off the reel. So the reason why I kept it on the reel and it's all started to spool off is just because if I want to add more beads on, so if I'm happy with this design now, all I need to do is just move it along down, add me calotte and my crimp beads, and then I'm not wasting a load of tiger tail. However, if I think actually I need more beads and I don't want to keep adding to take them all off to restring again, I can just cut a little bit further up and then add the extra beads on that I need on both sides. This length at the moment in inches is 3 3/4, there or thereabout. By the time I've added my calottes on, I reckon I've got 4 inches there. I've got quite small wrists, so I think that's more than enough, but I do want to make sure that I can get it over my knuckles. A bit like when you're wearing an elastic bracelet, we don't open it out, we kind of position our hand like this with our thumb in, just to kind of slide that over. But bear in mind, people's knuckles are always going to be much wider than the wrist, so you want to just make sure it's suitable for what you're doing. I'm just going to guess with that and hope that that's enough for me. And now I'm going to get my culottes out. Now, because this kit comes with the rhodium coloured slider, I'm using rhodium coloured culottes as well. What I would like to show you is the difference in the finish. So these here are my silver coloured culottes, and this is my rhodium. Can you see this has got a darker tone to it? And therefore, I think these match this finish really nicely. What is often a bit of a challenge, don't know which one's my silver, which is my rhodium now, them two. Sometimes when you buy metals, even if it's called, say, copper or rose gold finish, they can have different tones to them. So when you're looking at gold, you have like your yellow gold. When you've got your they just have different tones to them. And what I think is really good about the things that Totally Beads put together in terms of their findings, they don't come as a pair, but the tone of the colour is really well matched. So you can see I've got this warm kind of yellow gold on this version of the bracelet, and then that's matching this slider really quite beautifully. Same with this, the rhodium is the same tone and the same finish. Our kind of rose gold coloured wire has got a very kind of pink tone to it, and the findings match that really, really nicely as well. So always something to be a bit conscious of. You know, if you are thinking, I'm going to use this from my stash, have that little moment just to make sure that you're matching your metals as best you can, unless, of course, you want that contrast. So I've got my rhodium findings. I'm going to attach my culotte by just adding it to the end of my stringing material, my Tigertail, and I'm going to add on 2 of my crimp beads. Now, to be fair, I might not always use a rhodium coloured crimp bead. I might use a silver crimp bead because you're not going to see them. Now, you can crimp your crimp beads properly with crimping pliers, or you can do it like this by sliding it right up to the end of the Tigertail. I'm just going to press down with my pliers. You can press down with any pliers. I think chain nose is probably best, just towards the tip. So you can see, I can pick this up. I'm not worried about it falling off because I'm not using a bead stopper. It's still attached to my reel. So you can see if I slide this right up to the end, the crimp bead I haven't flattened is still rounded. This one is flat. That's now going to hold on to the end of the Tigertail. It's going to fit nicely inside my culotte, so it's going to give me that professional finish, but it's also going to ensure that it's holding all my beads on and it's got that strong connection. If I just crimp it once, I might worry that actually, what if that does come off, it's a bit loose or whatever. I always double crimp because both 2 crimp beads will fit inside that culotte lovely, and it's going to just give me that extra security. If you've got any Tigertail sticking out the end, I've got the teeniest, tiniest bit just there. Doesn't matter, but I'm just going to trim it off. And then I'm going to slide my next crimp bead up right close next to the one that I've just done. And again, just flattening that out. I want to flatten them in the same direction. So I don't want one like this and one like that. I want them both in line with each other, like so. Now I can move my culotte down towards the end. It's going to cover over the crimp beads. The crimp beads are going to sit inside, closing over the top, just with my fingers, just to line those ends up. And then again, with my chain nose pliers, gentle pressure on the outside of that rounded part of the culotte. What's that going to do? What that is going to do, sorry, is it's going to draw those bits in together. So it's going to give me like almost a rounded bead shape. It's also going to bring those, I think I call them eyelets, but the little loops at the end is going to make that almost as one. They're going to be nice and lined up. Now all I need to do is slide my beads down, and then I can cut off my tiger tail. Now what you could do is you could have added your culotte on and your crimp beads but not crimped it. You could have continued to string. I know, as I say, I always use Yumina as an example because I know, especially when you're doing like elastic stretchies and things like that, you do like to just continuously make, don't you? And then you'll cut off to kind of close up or tie each section. And I think if you're making lots of jewellery, I think this kit only makes 4, so you don't have to. But if you want to, you can have a little kind of almost production line going on. What's that, Camille? Donna says, beading is my therapy. Camille says, you make so much more than me. Well, it's my job, isn't it? So I have to. Joanne also says she's got kits that she wants to get through. But that's the joy. If you go on the website, you know, we do still have stock. I was speaking to Simon about this on Friday when I seen him. And he said to me, you know, sometimes we'll have a kit that we made a while ago, and then all of a sudden it seems to get a little bit popular again, whether that's somebody maybe seeing one of the adverts on one of the platforms or something. But hopefully we got them in stock. I'm going to cut a little bit. I'm not cutting too close this time. I want plenty still to be able to attach my other culotte and crimp bead onto the other side. But I want to make sure I've got enough to hold on to. So maybe about, I don't know, 1 inch or so. I'm then going to add on my culotte when I know I'm happy with my pattern, and I can make sure that my hematite hearts are sitting nice and flat and up against each other. If there's kind of a gap in it, I don't want the tiger tail on show, so I'm just going to push it down just to get a nice tension and check that I'm happy with my positioning of everything. Again, culotte on with the loops facing outwards towards the end of the bracelet. First little crimp bead on. I don't put 2 on at the same time, I just put 1 on at the moment. And then I'm going to come in with my pliers. You can create a little curve in this as you go if you want to. And I'm just going to push that crimp bead down into the bottom of the culotte before I press it flat. I'm then going to take my other crimp bead and I'm going to position that on. This is making sure that, so you can see now that that culotte is held down and tight. But again, just for extra safety, I'm going to take my other crimp bead. I'm going to push that close down, if you can see in there, to the last one, and I'm just flattening it in the same direction. So just to close it over, just so it's holding onto that tiger tail, I can give a nice good wiggle on that, and I tend to do just to make sure that they are fixed in place before I trim off and close it over. Coming in with the cutters, cutting off any excess tiger tail. You can see now all I've kind of wasted, I suppose, or not using is just that little bit. It's not much at all. Again, making sure it's fairly flush. I'm going to close over the culotte, and then with the pliers, little push down to close it over. So now all I need to do is attach this onto my bracelet. If you want to, you can add a jump ring onto that. I would probably suggest maybe an outer diameter 4x1 or 5x1, but you'll see our culotte has got those little attaching loops, and my slider chain bracelet also has little loop which is you can open. So it works just like a jump ring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delicately open this. So I'm going to take my chain, and with my pliers, I'm just going to hold over the part of the jump ring or the attaching ring, just to give myself some purchase. And I'm going to give it a little turn up, just like I would do a jump ring. It doesn't have to be much. I don't want to open it too much. We talked on Monday about kind of overturning and putting stress on our jump rings and our pins. This is just going to be enough that I can slide in the 2 sections. So if it's not, do it a little bit at a time. You might think, I just need to open it a tiny bit more. So a little twist towards me, just enough to get that through. And then I'm going to close it again, just like I would a jump ring. So you can see where that chain is hooking on. That's a better idea to see, isn't it? So where that chain is kind of soldered on to that ring, I'm just going to put my pliers across it and then turn it down. Still want to make sure it's closed fully and those bits aligned. So now you shouldn't really be able to see where that ring opens. It's a full close. I lay the bracelet down again because I want to make sure that that chain is not twisted, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So taking my pliers to support the loop, just the tip of them, and going to give it a little twist towards me to open, and then slide my culotte loops directly on and back again to close. Yeah, Heather, you could use a jump ring on the end if you wanted to. That's going to give you a little bit of extra length as well. I would suggest you use the rhodium jump rings from Totally Beads, because they're going to give you that metal match that we were just talking about. So that's the bracelet, really straightforward. You can see now it's wide enough for me to slip over my wrist. And then to close, all I'm going to do is just move that silicone bead up. So I tend to hold on to the ends. They've got lovely little kind of ball finishes on the ends of these as well. And all I'm going to do is just push that bead up. So between my finger and my thumb, it's a really good bracelet to be able to put on and take off yourself as well. And I can tighten that to whichever tightness that I want. I quite like wearing my bracelets a little bit loose, but not enough that it's sliding up and down the arm. So you can see those hematite beads sit beautifully flat against my wrist. You can see that lovely shine and shimmer on them. And then if to take it off, all I need to do is, again, just going to move that silicone bead down towards those little bead stoppers and then slide off. So you've got a bracelet which can be as tiny as the tiger tail that you've strung on, or as wide and as long as the chain with the stoppers. I think they're really cute makes. And as I say, they come in lots of lovely finishes. So we have this beautiful green and gold on the gold finish. If I can hold that up, that's with the pale olive pearl. They're all £12.99 the kits today, and they all make up to 4 bracelets. Well, you're going to get 4 of your clasps and the findings. But in terms of the length of the bracelet, you're going to have lots of beads left over, so you can make these much smaller, much longer if you want to. We have this beautiful purple. It's just so deep and rich. I'm trying to get the light. There you go. Can you see how gorgeous that is? And that is with, I think they were purple velvet, those pearls. Beautifully matching, I think, the colour of the pearl with those hematite hearts. This is your mermaid pink. So you've got that beautiful blush pink with the gold tone as well. There on your gold sliders. And show you that bead so you can see what I was talking about before with kind of like the blue edging. Donna says, great gifting. Don't need this size. Will fit everyone. Yeah, exactly. I find, to be honest, I find bracelets probably the harder thing to size than any other make. I've got a ring sizer. I know I can make a ring that will fit you perfectly because I've practiced now with wire and the length of the wire when I make my wire rings. Necklaces is really, I think, straightforward to know, like, well, what size do you want? Do you want it 50 centimeters? Do you want it 45? Would you prefer it longer at 60? I think lots of people have a clearer idea of, where they like it to sit on the neckline. With bracelets, I've got a bracelet size of 2. I just find it's more of a challenge than anything else, really. And earrings are usually a one size fits all, aren't they? So having a slider clasp like this, I think, is just a really useful component to add into your jewelry making stash, if anything. And then obviously the one that I've just demoed for you today is the silver. So play around with how you want the hearts. Do you want them all traveling the same direction? Do you want to do what I've done today and have them some going one way, some going the other way? They're really, really pretty. They're just a lovely colour and a lovely weight. As I say, they're not too weighty, they're just right. So these are the heart slider bracelets on the Totally Beads website. We are totallybeads.co.uk. They are fabulous, £12.99 for each kit, making up to 4 bracelets. Everything you need in there is in your kit aside from your tools, and all I've needed for tools is I don't even need a ruler because I was just using the Tigertail straight off, a pair of cutters, pair of chain nose, or 2 pairs of chain nose if you can, and that's it. Minimal tools, beautiful, beautiful jewellery. Kat's given me a heart. Fairness Born says, very pretty. Thank you, Natalie. I hope I've not missed any questions. Don't imagine there would be many questions. I say it's pretty straightforward. Mina says, I just bead stringing on elastic and Tigertail and then cut to size. I know, I stole that tip off you, Mina. So on Monday next week, it's Wednesday today, isn't it? I'm a bit thrown this week because obviously I was away the weekend, so I don't know where I am. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm saying. Could do with going back to bed. I'm going to be with you on Monday. Monday, I'm going to be making some necklaces and earrings, I think, with you as well. And I'm using a connector to create like a pendant and a tassel at the same time. They're a little bit of fun. I think they're kind of bringing in the boho chic for the summer, which I'm hoping will eventually come here soon, and miss the sunshine. So if you could be with me on Monday, that's what I'm going to be doing then. I think on Wednesday, now a little while ago, I was off, wasn't I? Because I'd suffered a family bereavement. So I've rescheduled the Georgina geometric, there's that word that I was looking for before, Georgina geometric crystal necklace for you on Wednesday. They are very, very pretty and a whole host of gorgeous beads. So that's what I'm doing with you next week. So I hope you can join me then. Camille says, lovely, thank you, Nat. Enjoy the rest of your week and take care, everyone. Thank you for being with me, and I will see you all soon. Have a lovely, lovely weekend, lovely rest of your week, and take care.